Hello, everybody, and welcome to a second attempt at some Money in the Bank reactions. Now, I must admit, I'm quite annoyed because I've already done this once, but the audio didn't take the first time, which I have to admit is quite annoying. So we're going to try this again and jump straight into the Money in the Bank reactions. Now, first up was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, we are going to rush through these just a little bit just so I can get this video up for you guys and just so like, it can be the best. So, the Bludgeon Brothers, we knew they were going to win, right? Let's not even waste a lot of time on that. That was pretty much done and dusted, nice and early. Finished off nice and early, and that was that for the pre-show. The first match on the main show was Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. Now, I will start off by saying that I enjoyed this match. It was better than I thought it would be. Daniel Bryan, in the end, picking up the win with the heel hook. And I got to say, back in the day, watching Daniel Bryan on Total Divas, he was saying how he was going to, if he ever came back, he was going to use more ground-based, more submission style. And dare I say, I love this style of wrestling more than I love the original wrestling style of Daniel Bryan. It's a lot safer for him. I do still find myself worrying when he hits his head and stuff like that, normal wrestling spots. But let's face it, man, this guy got powerbombed on the apron the first night he was back. So that's pretty good. Right, Big Cass. Let's talk about him for a minute. He should never have been in this position. No disrespect to him. And he did not deserve to be put in this difficult position. If you lose twice, you're buggered because you ain't seen as a proper threat anymore. He's finished. But if you win, you're buggered too because you hold down the golden goose, which is Daniel Bryan. And it was a great match. Hopefully both men can move on to bigger and better things. Daniel Bryan perhaps in a feud with Samoa Joe over the #1 contendership. Big Cass needs to feud with an upper babyface mid-carder. Ty Dillon's just too far down, but maybe a member of the New Day and someone of that ilk. And Daniel Bryan certainly needs to be up, maybe facing a #1 contender for the WWE Championship match, or dare I say, the WWE champion himself, right? But I will rate that match 3.5 out of 5. So I quite enjoyed that match. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn up next. The match was good. The match was average. I'm going to start off by saying outright and straight up, that was 4 stars. I'm going to 4 stars, 3 stars, sorry. Average, I'm going to give it 3 stars. It was an average match. It weren't good. It weren't bad. Both men performed their roles well. Dude, Bobby Lashley's only been back for about 2.5 months. He needs to do more. He needs to be in a better feud, so to speak. He can't be in a silly feud like this. You know, in 2016, we had a silly segment. I can't remember what the hell it was for the life of me that made fans think, oh, why do I watch this? 2017, Bayley, This Is Your Life. 2018, Nia Jax with the anti-bullying. Although, like, that is a good message. It was just completely transparent how they're trying to make it. And then, obviously, you had the whole Daniel Bryan, my bad. You had the whole Bobby Lashley sisters thing, which was pathetic. Lashley needs to move on and be challenging in and around that Intercontinental title / WWE Universal Championship area whenever Brock Lesnar decides to come back. And Sami Zayn just needs to... Sami needs to do something else, man, because this guy, people have got to remember, he was an NXT champion, and you've got to have more respect for him. Next up on the card was, in my opinion, the sleeper match of the night. Yes, Seth Rollins versus Elias. Now, for starters, I will start off by saying the ring psychology in this match was brilliant from both competitors. Like, I genuinely, going into it, I didn't believe Elias had really that much of a chance to win it. I thought the only way Elias would win it is if they were going to push Seth towards Universal title trajectory, and they didn't want him to have the IC title anymore. But then again, they could just as easily do that with some Ultimate Warrior kind of deal by having, you know, the Intercontinental title on him at the same time. But as the match went on, I believed more and more that Elias could win. Elias by far surpassed my expectations. He did better than I ever thought he would do in the ring. The guy has more wrestling skills than I thought he did. So from a fan's perspective, I want to say, one, I'm sorry, Elias, and two, you're very good, Elias. The match itself, as I said, was very, very good. Seth hurt his knee, his ribs, his neck, all of that stuff was sold perfectly. Like, I really believed he could win the title towards the end of it. Absolutely, positively believed he could win it. I thought he could. And the fact that the story was told so well, like so many near falls, so many close calls. And the only way that Seth Rollins could beat Elias was by digging into the heel tactics, you know, the bag of tricks, as it was said on commentary, by grabbing the tights and, you know, breaking the rules a bit of Elias to pick up the win. Very good match. 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5, actually. That is my match of the night. 100% Seth Rollins versus Elias. Next up, we have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but I am going to bypass that for a minute so I could talk about 2 more matches. Then I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to kind of do 3 matches in one kind of review because they all like kind of intertwine in either match type or storylines. Now, Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. I don't want to be disrespectful to both competitors by saying meh, but I'm going to say meh. Again, you know what? I was going to give it 3 stars, but I'm not even going to give that. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Below average, just because, dude, neither man really put anything into it. I mean, the fans were bored of this, right? And it looked like the competitors were bored of it as well. Roman Reigns and Jinder, they both run through their moves. They both did their stick. It was a typical Roman wins lol. It just felt like we need to do something with this guy whilst we have him wait for Brock Lesnar to get back at SummerSlam. And there's nothing else to do with this guy. We don't want him in the Money in the Bank ladder match because then, like, you know, he gets too close to the title again and that takes away from his whole I'm the uncrowned champion stick. You know, we can't fight anyone else because we have no one else. He's not on SmackDown, so they know, oh, yeah, let's just put him with the guy who was that other guy that we had a failed experiment with? Oh, yeah, Jinder, let's do that. And 2.5 stars, dude. The match ended when Roman Reigns, like, he done his Superman punch and the spear after a distraction from Sunil Singh failed, who was in a wheelchair, by the way, and got Superman punched. I mean, okay, yeah, he was faking it, but dude, like, out of context, that doesn't look great, WWE. Like, you know, as someone that has like a couple of friends who are in wheelchairs, like, I don't know, man. I knew it was fake, but for me personally, it was still a bit of uncomfortable viewing, man. Like, you know, to see the wheelchair go backwards and stuff like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. We'll leave it out of it because then you get into a bit of a grey area, but 2.5 stars. Right. Next up, we will talk about the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match. Now, in my opinion, there was only one way this match could go if you were going to have Carmella retain. Thankfully, the way that I envision it going in my predictions, there should be a little card up round about here. Bloody on, my hand came closer to the camera than I wanted to. There should be a little card up there, right? That should say my predictions. And I got this one spot on, right down to the finish. Carmella retains after being out-wrestled by Asuka. And before we go on, right, I just want to say how good I believe this match was. Not because of like it was any great match, but Carmella herself, man, she is getting better day on day, week by week. Carmella's wrestling skill is improving, and far be it from me to critique anybody because I can't wrestle for shit. None of us can, probably, who watch this. I thought it was a great matchup. I enjoyed it. Fantastic, in my personal opinion. Loved it. No problem at all. Absolutely brilliantly. Sorry about that. Thought I bloody heard the fucking cat scratching at the door or whatever, but you got to feel that for Asuka, though. I mean, what do they do with Asuka now? You had this undefeated killing machine over here. There you go, it's always too close. Over here on NXT, right? You had it right here. And now you're just over here you have this like whimpering kind of mess, and the finish was so good, but it was so bad at the same time. It was good because your boy James Ellsworth returned. Hell yes, we love ourselves some Ellsworth. I mean, if you're me, you do. I don't know how my friends feel about it, but I'm on the Ellsworth bandwagon. I really am. I enjoy me some James Ellsworth. I do, right? But Asuka looks stupid as hell. Like, if someone's there, why does she look like she was genuinely afraid? Just fucking boot the person in the apron on the head. And then the fact that she took Carmella down again and then went immediately back to staring at this apparition, was almost like she was treating it, was ridiculous. Although the James Ellsworth reveal was pretty damn sick. Carmella hits the super kick, if you will, or the running kick, whatever you want to call it, for the win. And that is the only way they could keep the belt on Carmella. I, for one, hope the James Ellsworth return isn't a one-off. I hope he's around on Tuesday. I like James Ellsworth. I feel like they had a loads of potential for the whole Carmella and James Ellsworth thing, and they cut him short very quickly. I actually would have loved to have seen James Ellsworth versus Becky Lynch on a SummerSlam. The fact that this guy has gone on to hold an intergender title really does tell you that he's okay with wrestling women and women are okay with wrestling him. Now, we are going to go on to the WWE Championship match next. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and I rate this 3.75 out of 5, maybe 4. I don't know. Can I rate it 3.7? No, it was very good. What did I give Rollins and Elias? Did I give them 4.5 or 4? I'm gonna give the WWE Championship match. I'm going to give it a 3.75, right? And before I say anything, it's not because of the competitors. I just feel like every time the guys are down for like a second, 2 seconds, and the referee doesn't count, it does my head in. Like, to know that both men are down, and the referee's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And before he even count, man, it's a last man standing match. They've both been down. See, I'm getting annoyed now. Bloody sweating. It's so hot in here, by the way, guys. Sweating on my bloody head. That's why my hair's getting stuck to me, right? And I feel like, dude, you've been counting already. He's already down on the floor, yeah, and you're not counting. But this match was good. And another reason why I'm only giving it 3.75 is because it annoys me. This match was really good. But dare I say that every other match these two have put on, apart from Wrestle Kingdom, I should say every match these two have put on in WWE, it was a failure, man. It was an outright flop. Come on, let's be a little bit honest. What are you doing, guys? This was the only match that was good. The psychology of it all, like both men being pushed to their limit, you know, the close calls. One of the hardest things about a last man standing match, right, and I look to the heavens when I say this, is that it's very easy to telegraph when a person is going to get up before 10. And there were quite a few times in this match where, even though they were close to things that could easily make them stand up, like ropes or announce tables or whatever, as we saw in the match a few times, you didn't always know when they were going to get up, specifically after Nakamura done the low blow followed by the Kinshasa. That was the one time I believe Nakamura had the W. AJ Styles hit a Styles Clash off the steel steps, which was another great falls finish. I personally think that it would have been better had it been on the steps instead of off the steps, if you know what I mean. The match itself, the ending was great. The psychology behind it. Nakamura is there. He's leaning up on the announce table after getting up. He's leaning like this and is like, come on. And then finally, AJ Styles boots him square in the nuts. And then as he's about to get up, phenomenal forearm from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring, breaking the announce table, the 10 count. AJ Styles is still your WWE champion. AJ Styles is the one guy who I don't mind being WWE champion for a long, long time. The only thing is, you've got to find something to freshen up a bit. Be that new opponents, a heel turn, not necessarily what I want, but, you know, something along those lines, and he'll be fine. But for me, 3.75 stars. I rate this match very highly. Now, for the last 3 matches, and I've left these three last for a reason. First, we're going to start off with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, I don't want this video to be too long because I don't want you guys to get bored or whatever, and I don't want to, feel like I'm going on and on. But the winner of this match annoys me, right? Quite simply, I'm just going to come out and say it. Alexa Bliss won, last tipping Becky Lynch off the ladder for the win, right? And it would become apparent later on in the night, if you haven't already guessed, as to why, right? Now, I don't have a problem with Alexa Bliss. I mean, I think that she's come on leaps and bounds since she first debuted on SmackDown Live, right? And, I think she's very good. But here is the scoop, though. Here's the real thing, right? So many more women in that match could have put the briefcase to good use, right? Becky Lynch, first and foremost, I believe should have won it because that opens up a wealth of possibilities. Now, I admit I'm biased, right? So you can disregard that if you want, right? You can disregard that all day. Even Charlotte winning it, though, would have been fantastic just simply because she, for a storyline purpose, could have cashed in on Carmella. Roles reversed, that would have been quite cool to see, although maybe not immediately. Ember Moon, you could have let her hold on to it for the longest time. And anytime you want to push the button, so to speak, you want to pull the trigger, would be a better phrase. Anytime you want to pull the trigger on that, you can. You can have a brand new face, a brand new superstar in the championship picture. Naomi, I mean, I wouldn't have had Naomi win it per se, but, she could have perhaps brought some freshness to the SmackDown Women's division. Even if you stuck with your original plan with Natalya winning it, and we're going to go further into that in the next match, right? We're going to go further into that in the next match. Even if you would have stuck to your original plan, the only one who I couldn't make a case for winning it would be Sasha Banks, probably because of the same reason for Charlotte, although Charlotte has more of a storyline reason for winning it, is that Sasha and Charlotte, you don't really need a briefcase to put them back in the championship picture. You could either have either of them win a gauntlet or a battle royal on SmackDown or Raw, and it wouldn't look completely out of place. Like, they could just click back into the championship picture at any moment. Now, the main problem I have with Alexa Bliss winning, as we give the Raw Women's Money in the Bank ladder match a 3.5-star rating, is that we're going to go on to Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. Now, just before we get to the finish of the match, we're going to give this match a 3.5-star. Again, above average. Maybe I'm being a bit too harsh with my rating, guys, but I really believe they destroyed Rousey's mystique somewhat. They had her basically get dominated by Nia Jax, and then after that they destroyed Nia Jax. And I don't just mean just because she lost the title. Spoilers, Alexa Bliss does cash in, but oh man, they had Ronda get dominated, power bombs, headbutts, and yes, I know they told the story of, in UFC they couldn't do this, but come on, we're still meant to believe that this woman is fucking balls to the walls badass, man. She ain't gonna get phased by a power bomb here and there. I've been lumped in the face a few times harder than it looked like Nia hit Ronda during that match, and I've got back up. Hell, I've been thrown through a door before. Completely random piece of trivia, but there you go. Dude, I don't understand it. And this is my biggest problem. You have Bliss cash in at the end, right? Most importantly, she hit Nia, fucking hell, here we go, right? She hit, most importantly, she hit Ronda with the briefcase first, meaning Ronda won by disqualification. So it preserves the unbeaten record. But then you have Alexa. She doesn't go ham on Nia straight away. She goes ham on Ronda, and I guess that could kind of make Ronda look strong in a way. But she goes ham on her for a good, 5 minutes, a good 3-5 minutes, right? Hitting her with the briefcase. Then she hit Nia again. Then she hit Ronda and threw Ronda over the announce table. All the while, the champion is recovering in the bloody ring. But then she still loses after a DDT and being hit with the arm or whatever, and then a twisted Bliss. So we are back where we was essentially before WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss is champion. Nia Jax is a dethroned monster who ain't really going to mean anything. And Ronda Rousey, okay, fair enough. WWE got out of it by having by having, you know, like I suppose Ronda not lose or get defeated, which is you know, I suppose brilliant because it preserves their undefeated streak. But if you were gonna do this, couldn't you do it with Nia? I mean, not Nia. Sorry, couldn't you do it with Natalya? I mean, dude, you could have. Oh, you don't even need the briefcase to do this. If this is what you were gonna do, you could have just had Natalya cost Ronda the match randomly, and then when asked for a reason, you could have had her say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to let you win the title when I was the one that taught you everything I know, you know, blah 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 blah," and then you had a ready-made SummerSlam match, and you wouldn't have made Nia Jax seem like a transitional champion who just holds onto the belt for fucking a month and a half, doesn't know whether or not she's face or heel, the female Big Show, so to speak, and just basically fucks it up. Like, it's like the WWE have had a history of this as well. They don't know what to do with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Damien Sandow, Baron Corbin, even Daniel Bryan, who successfully cashed in 2011. It's been well documented that Vince McMahon never knows what to do with his Money in the Bank people, or they lose faith in them so quickly. And it's just ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. You could have even done this storyline without the briefcase. You could have had Natalya challenge Ronda to a exhibition match. And if you were going to have the same build-up, oh, we're friends at first, but then it gets personal, you could have had the same build-up with Natalya and Ronda without the championship and given someone else a title shot, like a Sasha Banks if you wanted to. And instead you are. I'm just infuriated by that whole build-up. It is unbelievably stupid. It is unbelievably stupid. Let me know if you guys agree. That is what grinded my gears. That is what really like pushed me. I was quite enjoying the pay-per-view, and then like that match soured it a bit to me, and I honestly didn't get back on the hype train until like the very end of the Carmella Oscar match, because you know when James Ellsworth come back, Ellsworth is great and all that stuff. But that really like soured me. And then after that match, you have Bliss cash in, and that angered me because I will say this: I'm running ran a poll on Twitter, and most people say it was the right decision. But that's given the build-up we're already in. And that I can understand. But couldn't WWE have ran a different build-up before if this is what you were going to do? You could have just put Natalya in with Ronda. Like you were originally going to do. Now, everyone thought, oh, fuck, they fucked themselves up. You know, they're not going to end it by disqualification. Either Ronda loses and then gets cashed in on, or fucking, you know, either Ronda wins and gets cashed in on, or just straight out loses. No one really thought the disqualification, which I admit is the smart option. But if you were going to do that, why the cash in? You could have even had. No, I've already said it. But it just annoys me because I hate nothing more than the Money in the Bank briefcase getting wasted. Like even back on Money in the Bank 2016, I believe it was, when Dean Ambrose cashed in, I hated that just because it was wasted. The same night cash-ins, they're so trivial. Like, I mean, who cashes in on the same night, man? And that's not even picking your spot. She waited as well. Nia Jax was on her feet at some point. Oh my God, man. It just annoys me. Right. Forgetting that, otherwise I'm going to go on and on about it for years. Next up, and it was the last match of the evening, the men's Money in the Bank line match. Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, Bobby Roode, Finn Balor, Kofi Kingston was the selected member for the New Day, Rusev, Samoa Joe, and The Miz. Everyone in this match hit their spots, done their bits, apart from, you know, I'm not going to say apart from, because Bobby Roode did all right as well, but like everyone looked like they belonged in this match apart from Bobby Roode. And good God, man, I feel so sorry for the guy. You've absolutely killed his momentum, WWE. With that being said, someone please tell me why, and I know it's not booked that way, I'm nitpicking, but someone please tell me why both members of the New Day didn't stay outside and didn't actually proceed to like basically make themselves a 3-man group. It's no disqualification. Help Kofi, for God's sake. That is nitpicking, but logic, WWE, logic. At least have them be out there and get taken out by Braun Strowman or something. With that being said, Finn Balor, I thought, was excellent in this match. perhaps should have won. The Miz played his role to perfection as well, the cowardly heel. There was a moment when Braun Strowman just ran through everybody and Miz was in the ring and he just stood there for like 5 seconds, not climbing the ladder and just looking at Braun in absolute terror. And that would normally infuriate me because, you know, you'd be like, why are you not climbing? In the same way that, like, you're bare fresh in the match, but you climb the ladder so slowly. But you could actually believe that Braun could terrorize some guy. And that was after he threw Kevin Owens off the ladder right through a table round about where the Raw announce table would normally be. And Braun Strowman wins the Money in the Bank. Last challenging off, if you will, Finn Balor, who looked like he was going to climb and stop but didn't get there in time. That was a good force finish. Braun Strowman is Mr. Monster in the Bank, if you will. Why I rate this, I don't understand it per se, but I'm looking forward to seeing if WWE can enlighten me, because this is the thing. Braun Strowman didn't need Money in the Bank. He didn't need anything before. He could have battered anybody when they're fresh. And now to think that there is a Braun Strowman coming after either a Brock Lesnar or a Roman Reigns, or just for the sake of it, a Seth Rollins or a Finn Balor, after they've been in a hellacious match. I mean, say for an example, there's an elimination chamber for the WWE Championship, right? And everyone's in it. And you're a bloodied, battered Roman Reigns. You have just went through 5 men, and you're holding your title aloft. You know, there's blood coming down your face. You can't even see yourself through your own crimson mask. And you're there thinking your night's over. You're thinking about when you're going to go back to your hotel and your head's going to hit that pillow, and you're going to be able to rest up, perhaps talk to your family on the phone. And then that music hits, that Braun, that music, and your life ends. If that was me, I would genuinely just put the title in the middle of the ring, leave the ring, and forfeit the title and never come back. Good God, that man Braun Strowman is hard enough to take on when you are fresh. But when you have just retained or just won a championship for a hellacious match, ain't no way, no logical way that WWE are ever going to be able to book Braun Strowman losing that cash in. Knowing WWE, they probably will do that. Overall, I rate the match, give it 4 stars. Because why not? Every man put their body on the line. The women's Money in the Bank match, again, the reason why I gave it 3.75, not only because of the finish, but the ladders were smaller, the spots weren't as big, and, you know, you can't be women and talk about wanting to be on equal footing with the men, but not take the same kind of spots. I don't know. Maybe that sounds a bit sexist. I don't mean for it to be, but no doubt they can take the same spots, like, you know, hitting their back on the ladder or getting pushed off highlight and stuff. They can take it, but obviously WWE doesn't give them the opportunity. With that being said, I rate the whole pay-per-view 6.5, maybe 7 out of 10 stars. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. And did you enjoy the pay-per-view? I'm going to be running some polls on Twitter, and there's going to be a little poll like in the YouTube video. It'll be somewhere over there next to like the last episode, probably my predictions, where you could see like what I predicted and how it stacks up against everything that, you know, I said, or everything like that. Do you agree with what I said in this video? Before I ramble on and on and on, no doubt I'm going to have to edit this down significantly already. Yeah, that's it. Bloody my TV's just fucking turned off by itself. That's spooky shit. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about everything. As I said, down below, rate, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you very much for watching. I'm out. Peace. I gotta say, at the start of this video I mentioned there was various problems doing the audio, but as you can see in that picture above, I decided to run a Twitter poll based on the one burning problem I had with Money in the Bank, and you gotta say, the people have spoken. Maybe I was wrong about it. It'll certainly be interesting to see what they do tonight on Raw, but I'm a man of my word, and I just wanted to put that in just to show that, hey, maybe I was wrong. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Sorry this took so long to get uploaded. Audio problems really prevented it from being uploaded a lot earlier. And then bloody ended up watching the England match. Your boy Harry Kane scores 2 goals for the win, but that's a different thing altogether. Thank you again for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon.